Mitsumi Mario.
Kind of character. There's a very specific voice and type of performance. And I'll be honest, when I first watched this trailer, I was kind of disappointed. So here's the French version. Listen to this. Here's the English version.
Breaking the world together.
Here's the French version. Then once again, here's the English version.
Throwing out all tenderness.
I think the French version far and away offers the better, like the great value offered by the sponsor of today's video, Soylent.
Don't worry, the amazing Lucas video is coming soon. And yes, I already did cover this on stream, but even more information has come out since I last covered it 2 weeks ago, because Yong Yea, he is not having a good one. His hand is over the block button on every single Twitter profile. You dare say anything on him in Twitter, you get blocked. Even if you defend him in the comments section, you're gonna get blocked.
No more trolls! You in black!
But what does he even need defending for? This voice.
Turn around now, and you can go home in one piece.
The One Piece is real!
If you don't, just remember, going down this path was your choice.
Yeah, for some reason, YongYea thought it'd be a good idea to post to Twitter his English dub clips. And he even compared them to the original.
I made contact with a good number of people. Just waiting for them to get back to me. There's always something extra, isn't there? Let's cut the chit-chat. You got any info for me? Japanese. You're sure about that? Some help that is. They what? So he was naked. Anything else stand out?
This whole thing would not have blown up nearly as much as it did, because let's be honest, most of the Yakuza players, I'm talking the vast majority, 99%, they are playing in Japanese. I mean, the previous one, Yakuza 7, they had a pretty decent dub, but I guess they had to backtrack. They had to walk back all the improvement they made from having no dub to this is an acceptable dub. Because guess what? Some people, they come home from their 9 to 5, they're a little tired, their eyes are glazed over from staring at lights all day. You know, the office iridescent lights that are way too white. And they just want to chillax, play some video games. You know, the guys that watch animes dub, the normies. Come on, we've all been there. We've all been really tired and it's just like, you know what? I don't want to read right now. Please, let's play this in dub. But that opportunity has been taken away because YongYea. That's what I would say if this clip hasn't surfaced, and wow, this is horrible. And this is outside of YongYea.
Hanabi-kun, I've liked you for such a long time. Will you please go out with me?
Oh, Mabe-san. Yes, it would be my honor.
This is how youth should be.
Actually, I heard about the legend of Aloha Beach too. So I wrote a letter of my own.
I have no words. What happened there? What was the thought process on having this? There has to be some systematic incompetence when it comes to the studio, because who lets this slide? Who is the ADR director for this game? I don't care enough to look up his name because everybody plays Yakuza in Japanese audio. But if I did care enough, I would give him a very strongly worded email. But okay. Why does the title say YongYea is evil? What did he do? What did he exactly do? We all know about this Yakuza voice acting. Well, of course he butchered Baka Mitai.
You could find the words to say goodbye. I'm such a mess. I'm lost. I'm no good at this. I am in love. Still in love with you.
Okay, we're not going to let that go. That perfectly encapsulates the entire internet's response to YongYea.
I'm no good at this.
but somebody actually pointed this out in my comments section on my stream called You Reap What You Sow. YongYea apparently was a voice actor for Quantum Error. So I decided to look into Quantum Error. That seemed to fly under my radar. Well, as you'd probably guess, it's trash. Absolute garbage. IGN even gave it a 5 out of 10. And you know it's bad if your IGN review score is below a 7.
Weapons are competent but rather mundane for the rich and moody sci-fi setting, and the ghost of missed opportunity haunts the firefighting system, which appears robust mechanically but is given almost no opportunity to justify its inclusion at all.
They nearly got away with selling a $70 game on the PlayStation 5, exclusive to the PlayStation 5, by the way. So shout out to all the Sony ponies. You guys got Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, but the real ace up the sleeve of PlayStation's catalog, firefighting indie game. Now, this seems like the type of game that YongYea would absolutely shred to pieces, just as he did with Fallout 76. Of course, not like what he would do with Cyberpunk, because we all know that YongYea has drank the CD Projekt Red Kool-Aid. Turns out, he has incestuous relationships all across the games industry, because he even voiced for Quantum Error. Yes, YongYea decided not to cover a video game in which he voice acted that was reviewed very poorly. So if Quantum Error is indicative of anything, it's that YongYea will either sweep for or completely ignore any video game controversy that revolves around the video games that he's a part of. So in the case that Persona 3 Reload turns out to be a, for a lack of better words, Final Fantasy VII type remake, well, YongYea won't cover any of that controversy, because you know if they change that ending to Persona 3 in the remake, that's going to be very controversial. But no, YongYea is voicing Mamoru Hayase, which means, of course, is that he's going to just turn a blind eye to any controversy that Persona 3 Reload may attract. That seems to be the case already, considering Persona 5 Tactica and Persona 3 Reload both have day 1 DLC. In Persona 3 Reload's case, it's also a pre-order bonus that's exclusive to the pre-order. But no, of course YongYea wouldn't cover that. He's a consumer advocate unless it's by Sega. I just took another look of YongYea's recent videos, and of course he did not cover the heaping pile of mid that was Sonic Superstars. And of course he got exclusive access to the new Avatar game, because we were all asking for a game based off of James Cameron's Avatar, and he got exclusive access to Spider-Man 2. If you want to hear my thoughts about that, go check out this video. So it seems like YongYea isn't particularly interested in being honest, in being objective, or even being a consumer advocate, which was basically his whole grift. Remember in 2018 and 2019, he was talking out one side of his mouth, completely deriding Fallout 76, and then out the other side, completely hyping up Cyberpunk 2077. And YongYea even reviewed Cyberpunk 2077 very positively until he decided to unlist the review 6 months later because he saw the writing on the wall. But I guess integrity is the price you pay for clout. When Sega kicked Daryl Curlow out the door of being the English voice actor for Kiryu, YongYea then took his place. He is now voicing a Sega mascot. And let me preface this that this is all speculation, but of course throughout the recent 3 years or so, there has been a concerted effort for quote-unquote authentic casting. That essentially means that voice actors can only play roles of their own race, which at that point it just sounds like segregation with extra steps. But of course, Kiryu in Yakuza is of course Japanese because it takes place in Japan, and Daryl is a crap. So I believe that he was recast to find a more authentically casted role, which I'm not saying Daryl in particular is a good Kiryu, but you know what? After hearing YongYea, I'd rather take him. Let's go back to the first one with Mark Hamill. Okay, it was garbage, but you know what? I kind of still loved it anyways, because at least it doesn't have YongYea in it.
And this trailer finally gave us a glimpse of what Mario will sound like, who is played by Chris Pratt. And I'll be honest, when I first watched this trailer, I was kind of disappointed. I was a little taken aback by how much Mario just sounds like Chris Pratt doing like a bit of a Brooklyn accent. This still shot right here is a pretty appropriate representation of my reaction, that first knee-jerk impression.
How did Yong Yea say this with a straight face, knowing his performance as Kiryu? I'm genuinely curious. What gave him the gall to say this as he's performing like this? Man, even AI could do a better job at that. And it has, of course.
I made contact with a good number of people, just waiting for them to get back to me. There always is something extra, isn't there? Let's cut the chit-chat. You got any info for me? Japanese. Are you sure about that? So he was naked. Anything else stand out?
You tell me in the comments with a straight face. Is the AI better or is Yong Yea better? Genuine question. I am very curious to know, so please go down in the comment section, and while you're at it, leave a like. I'm gonna head out before I have to listen to Yong Yea singing Baka Mitai again. Hope you all have a good one. Peace out.
Sugi de, sugi, sugi de.